Welcome, welcome to Beyond the Matrix. My name is Boris Kirchner, and I'm grateful to be here with you today with, um, with the intention to explore what is the state of living beyond perception. But before we go into that and into the practice that I call the knowing of truth, to transcend all illusion, which in essence means to transcend all suffering, all fear, all doubt, all limitation. Before that, let's just center into why we're here, just to make sure you're in the right place and that this is where you want to be. Many of us are joining this broadcast from YouTube. And so if you're stumbling upon this, we are here only for one core reason, and that is to remember the truth. That is to remember the truth of who and what we truly are. Beyond our sense of identity in the body, in the mind, the truth that makes us unconditionally free, the truth that has been called by many names: enlightenment, salvation, ascension, self-realization. At the core of it, this is not a progressive path. At the core of it, what we are intrinsically, already and always, is the expression of the one infinite creator. We are consciousness. We are unlimited. We are one with infinite intelligence and with everything that is in existence in creation. That's not how we typically experience ourselves when we operate within what we call the dream matrix. In the dream matrix, we identify with our avatar in the very same way that when you play a video game or you watch a movie, you might identify with a specific character or avatar in the game. In the very same way, here, we've identified as Boris, as Kathy, as Larissa, as etc. So we have essentially given over our sense of self to this particular character. And this character, though, it belongs to the matrix. It belongs to this system, this dream world. And as you know, a big part of this dream is the experience of suffering. There is something that we may get into in future conversations, something happening here where our energy, the energy of, we may say, our soul, our sense of true self, is being harnessed. It's being harnessed to run this whole dream, to have it have its existence. And what we're interested in here is not necessarily to dismantle the matrix or to put up any kind of opposition, but instead to come to know the matrix as unreal and the self as the only reality. So if this is of interest to you, and if you are interested to not just talk about these things, but to live them, to practice them, to embody them, to express them as the very core of our life, then you're in the right place. And I want to welcome you to Beyond the Matrix. So before we dive into today's topic, I want to invite you to just take a moment. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes, take a deep breath, let your body know that it's safe. And as you exhale, let your body relax, just inviting relaxation all the way from the head down to the feet. Take another deep, full breath in. As you exhale, relax your body, relax the space behind your eyes, relax your tongue, relax your shoulders. And let's take one more deep breath. This time, inhale fully. And as you exhale, let go of the past and the future. Let go of memory and imagination, and center in to your intention to know the truth of who you are, to know the truth that makes you unconditionally free. Become available for it here and now. Let this time that we have together be that sacred space of transmutation, alchemy, awakening, grace. And as we come into this collective intention, we empower it through our joining of minds, our joining of consciousness. And so that each one of us can come away from this time having received whatever best serves each individual's unfolding into the full expression and realization of the true self. So welcome. Today, we are exploring the topic beyond perception, knowing the truth that makes you free, right? Knowing the truth that allows you to transcend illusion. So why don't we begin at the beginning? What happens to us as we come into this world, right? How did we end up the way that we are? Now, also, what way are we? This is the important thing. Within the dream matrix, the primary mode of operation is reactivity. A picture comes on the screen. You react in certain ways, right? Imagine it's a picture of Trump. That's a picture of Biden. Boom, 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 reaction, right? Emotional reaction. Maybe not here, because here you are. And if this is of interest to you, you may have very little interest in politics. But if you can pay attention to what's happening in the world, mere pictures of these individuals who are supplied, of course, by the dream matrix itself, causes emotional reactivity in millions of people, right? And if it's not those two, then there's other symbols and emblems that simply by you perceiving them, yeah? By you perceiving them, this emotional spill happens. Now, I want you to pay attention to what that really is, because sometimes we may say, oh, this is how I feel. This is my authentic expression. Okay, well and fine. Any moment that you experience something other than peace, love, and joy, you are spilling your divine life force energy. It is being siphoned. It's not wasted, but it is consumed by the parasitic nature of the dream matrix. So, just if this sounds a little bit abstract and kind of esoteric, just pay attention to what it means to consume media. What is the purpose of media companies? It is to consume your attention, to capture your attention. And when your attention is captured, we can take you on a particular ride and then boom, show you a picture or a symbol or an idea or a story. And that emotional energy gets released, squeezed from you, just like an orange being squeezed for orange juice. And that life force comes forth. It comes forth not in your service at all. It comes forth for interests that are far removed from what your true interest is. That's on one level, okay? And it's important to understand that life is multi-layered. So on the level of the dream matrix, this is exactly what's happening. On another level, deeper than this dream, we all have one interest. Our interest is to know God, to know the truth that makes us free, to know our oneness, right? Our shared interest is awakening, salvation, pure peace, love, and joy in an abiding way, in a way that is the foundation of our life. And so it's important to know that while all the different things that seem to be happening in the world have a worldly purpose, just like it says in the scripture, man may have meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. What's that mean? Well, what it means is that no matter what is happening in this dream matrix, no matter what is unfolding in your experience of life, each and every single moment, including this one, is here to help you to unfold, to release the various levels of programming, to unfold as a flower unfolds into your blossoming, into your true self, full self-expression, aligned with that authentic soul quality that you have come to express and share and be. So in another way, everything here serves our evolution. And this goes so hand in hand. We'll see that here in a moment, because on the one hand, illusions are the only things that cause us suffering. The illusions that we experience in life, the temptations of the dream matrix are the only ones that are causing us to spill this life force energy through our negative emotional reactions. And yet at the very same time, these same experiences, these moments that are in the law of one are called catalysts. These same catalysts are here as the very kind of like fertilizer, the very foundation and contextual congruent conditions for our spiritual evolution. So it is impossible that any single moment has any purpose other than this. But it is very possible for us to forget this purpose entirely and run into experiences in a completely unconscious way, unconscious being unconscious of the truth, and thereby experience great suffering and seemingly no gain. Again, it's an impossible experience, but that is the illusion that we come under. And for as long as we are under that illusion, that hypnosis, we suffer greatly and we see no purpose in it and we resist it and we fight it and we complain about it. But what we are doing here today, in this time that we have together, is we are remembering, we are becoming once again members of truth. And what is truth except all the ultimate reality? What is truth? As definition, is that which is changeless. It is the same today, tomorrow, and always, for all ages and beyond time as well. This is the truth that we concern ourselves with. And you may say, well, how can a human being know this truth? Human being cannot know this truth, but you can. And the distinction between the human avatar and your true self will become clear in time, not in time, in the unfolding of your consciousness, of our consciousness. So when we talk about now the nature of illusion and how do we go beyond this, because perception itself is illusion. To perceive means not to know. And as you can tell by looking out into the world and experiencing it through your own lens of perception, that it is constantly changing. It has nothing to do with the definition of truth, which is changeless, always, forever, unyielding, unchanging, and unalterable, indestructible, unbound. These words refer to something. But as you can see, many of them are actually negation words. We say not this, not that, which in the East is called the path of neti neti, right? Not this, not that, to really become clear within ourselves that not anything that I perceive here is the essence of what I seek. And again, how do you know? What is it that you seek? You know it by heart. You know it by your feeling. So the experience that we are all essentially after, whether we call that a family, a relationship, a house, a car, enlightenment, whatever it is that we call it, we seek one thing, and that one thing is happiness. That one thing is that feeling. Maybe we don't want to call it happiness. Maybe we call it bliss. Maybe we call it peace, love, joy. But what we call it is of secondary importance. What it is a universal experience. And this is what A Course in Miracles is speaking of. It says that a universal theology is impossible. And this is actually where I want to get to. The reason why universal theology is impossible is due to perception, due to the variances in language, in meaning, in interpretation. And while a universal theology is impossible, a universal experience is inevitable. And this quote from the Course is pointing to this thing that we are all seeking. This thing that we're all seeking is also our one shared interest. It doesn't matter if you are the head of the Illuminati or a president of a country or a mobster or gangster or a monk or a nun. Doesn't matter. All beings seek the one experience. Due to our filters, our conditioning, our past, our beliefs, etc., we all seek for it in the way that our matrix programming guides and leads us to do. Some people seek it in drugs. Some people seek it in money. Some people seek it in sex. Some people seek it in power over others to such a degree that they want to dominate the world. Well, all that being seeks, because remember that each and every single being started off as a fresh little baby, pure, innocent, available, receptive, completely dependent on its environment and its guardians. So the most power-hungry, person, man, woman, I don't know who it is, this one started off as a little cute baby. And whatever unfolded between the moment of conception through to this moment now, where they express this, what some people would be calling evil, wrong, etc., that thing, that span of time, that level of programming, those experiences, traumas, thoughts, emotions, relationships, if you and I were to experience the exact same, it would be very difficult for us to say that we would be any different than the most so-called evil person in the world. So why is this? The core of it really comes back to essentially programming. When we are able to transcend our programming, this is the first time ever that we truly have choice within the dream matrix. We as spirit have infinite choice. In one way, you can look at it this way, or we could say we have entirely no choice because the experience of oneness precludes the idea that there are multiple things to choose from. So in essence, as spirit, our choice is allness. But within the dream matrix, to defragment yourself from the programming, and yourself is even a little bit a misnomer, because we have great help here, without which we would completely be helpless and not be able to make any headway with this at all. And yet, the moment that we begin to transcend illusion by knowing the truth is the very same moment that for the very first time, we have true choice. We are literally able to choose our destiny, our movement in life. And a good corollary example to explain this more is our dreams at night. I imagine that many watching this have had an experience that may be called lucid dreaming. That sense of when you are dreaming, you become aware, oh my gosh, this is a dream. Maybe I can just fly away, and then you fly, right? So that experience, it's not uncommon. It is very well known throughout many human beings who speak about it. I personally have had many of these experiences, sometimes by accident, sometimes intentionally. But the difference between living this life within the program that is offered to you basically from the moment you're a baby, and you think that maybe it's offered by the parents, it is not. The parents have no choice. Nobody else has any choice if we were looking at it through this lens, right? It is the matrix itself. You are born into the matrix. You are given a body, yeah? Somehow it's seemingly that you are in this body. Now this body is given a name. And so over and over, your parents drill into you this name. You know who you are? You're Boris, you're Boris, you're Boris, or Larissa, or Kathy, or whatever. Whatever our name is, whatever your name is, that's been drilled into you. You didn't come with that. That name is something that first branded you into the dream matrix. This is the very first inception where you become identified. You, who was spirit, become identified with a particular one. I'm no longer one with all. I am one with this name. This is the one I am, and I'm not that one. And then from there, the journey starts. And the journey starts through language. All of this programming that we experience is based on language. Now, as a baby, you didn't know English, you didn't know Chinese, you didn't know Russian, you didn't know Arabic, you don't know any language. Yeah. So language is the first, like following your name, it's the next string, but your name is also language. It is attached to this. The moment you accept your name, which is a choiceless act, the very same moment, the door opens to complete programming. And then the program, which we call language and words and sentences and speech, all of that starts to condition you. Where did all of that come from? Again, it's coming from the dream. Does this dream have your best interest in mind? Look around. At the level of the dream is not here to look out for you. Now, again, remember though, that this dream, as we talked about in our previous satsang, this dream is happening also within a much greater context, which is the mind of God. The infinite one contains all things within herself, himself, itself. And because this is the case, you cannot be outside of infinity. You cannot be in some removed dream matrix where some evil reigns. You can't, because all is encompassed within the one. And the one is love. The one is pure infinite intelligence. The one is the core of your own existence. And yet, and this is why we can call all this illusion, and yet it appears. Remember, appears does not mean reality. It means appearance. Judge ye not by appearances, right? Because you will judge falsely, because appearances have nothing to do with the truth, nothing to do with reality. And yet, it is the appearances that we interact with at all times, missing entirely, having our eyes entirely closed and being asleep to the essence of life. Each simple moment of life, each being that you look at, you say, oh, that's John over there, and John has these characteristics, and that's how. That's not who that is. What you think of as John is the complete and full expression of this divine extension of the infinite creator. That's who that is. That is the Christ. That is the very essence of what God and oneness and truth truly are. It is your, what A Course in Miracles will call your brother. Yeah. Your brother who is one with you has got nothing to do with what the matrix has made of him. But in A Course in Miracles, it says you did this to your brother. It says that you conjured him up to be this way. And it is through your forgiveness and the release of this particular pigeonholing of through perception and not through knowing that is the very process that is offered us in A Course in Miracles to deprogram, to release, to actually learn to see beyond perception. So let's come back to this idea of coming into the world as a fresh baby, being fully programmed. And now, at some certain point, it's assumed that you stop being a baby. Actually, if you really pay attention to, again, the world, you'll see that many people are literally simply grow like babies, toddlers, children in adult bodies. And that is totally okay. It's not anybody's fault. This is where we're at right now as our collective. But choice has not truly come into the picture yet. The kind of choice that allows you to override programming, to override reactions, to override the matrix temptations, and to say, hey, I'm not playing this game anymore. Whatever you want to do over here, I am not interested. I'm just not going to engage anymore with my life force. I'm not going to invest any more of my power, presence, energy, which is actually God's power, God's presence, God's energy. I'm not going to invest any more of that into the delusion of suffering and separation. That choice can only occur when we have become familiar with the truth to the degree that we are literally willing to put our faith in it. And faith is proved through action. When we think about faith, sometimes we think, oh, yeah, well, like I believe in Jesus Christ. That's not faith. Faith is when you take action, when you live from, and you prove your faith through this act of, let's say, not reacting or being tempted into a reaction and waking up out of it, right? Of consciously, preemptively, before your mind is caught up into that familiar pattern, just like Joe Dispenza talks about, mentally rehearsing and saying, oh, yeah, I remember that when I'm asleep, I go A, B, C, and I react that way. Okay, so now I see that I'm going to choose no to that anymore, and I'm going to go A, J, Z instead. And that experience, that power is something that we win back, reclaim, not because we are earning it in some way, but it is because we have unconsciously, innocently so, given it away. And there's so many corollaries to this when it comes to law, when it comes to the way that the monetary system works, and all of this, which of course we're not going to go into right now because our subject matter here is this awakening. But everything that we experience as the core of this illusion, you will see that it is reflected in the fractals of this matrix, in all the different systems, in all the structures and organizations and cultural structures. It's reflected everywhere. So it takes a rare one to begin to deprogram and to embrace that true self. So if language was the way that the programming has come in, then what is it that we're going to, how do we take that power back? How do we deprogram it? So another really important thing is to learn how language works and what is actually happening, right? So let's take a breath here. Let's take one more deep breath and relax the body. That was a lot of conversation, which was in essence to say that as long as we take illusion to be something real, we are entirely asleep to that truth that makes us free. And illusions are not once in a while things that we encounter. They are literally being broadcast every moment that you exist here. And you will hear them right here in your own mind as your thoughts, the thoughts that you think in the language that you speak. remember, those thoughts, they didn't come here with you. These thoughts that you hear in the language that you speak within your own mind, these thoughts belong to the matrix. These thoughts are very interesting tools that we can both use to reclaim our power, as long as we have enough degree of consciousness, or we become used by these thoughts. Because when you, let's say, hear a judgment in your mind and you say, oh, and judgment, you say, it's not just like, oh, that person's bad and this one's good. It's also like the judgment of, that's right. That's the best thing for me. Or I really love that. That's going to be like amazing. Or I hate that. I'm not, I don't think I'll enjoy that. When you hear these things, please know that you are hearing a broadcast that's not necessarily speaking the truth to you. So this idea, right, of not believing everything that you think is very important. But beyond not believing everything that you think and leaving it at an abstract level, we really have to question everything that we think. But that's kind of crazy. Are you going to sit there and start questioning every thought and like, oh, you're not, obviously that's not a functional way to go. So built into this game is this thing that we call the catalyst. Okay. The catalyst is that moment in life where you get triggered. You could experience fear, you could experience anger, you could experience sadness, whatever is the flavor of that negative emotion. That is the very moment where our work is like being tested. We practice before that. We practice every morning and perhaps multiple times a day. Without the practice, when you meet this catalyst, when you meet the challenge, simply nothing is going to happen. You are going to react. You're going to fall into the temptation. You're going to go for that roller coaster ride, and you know where it's going to end up. It's going to steal your energy. It's going to spit you out. And you're going to be like, ah, oh, that was a tough day. Or, darn, my partner's a narcissist. It's not going to liberate you in any way. But what we're interested in here, if you're part of this conversation still, then you know that what we're interested here is complete awakening, complete freedom, that which makes us unconditionally free, which has nothing to do with labeling people, blaming people, or for going on these train rides, on the thought trains that then take us through and essentially waste all of our life force energy. But what is it about then? So it's very important that we look at it as a two-step kind of process. One is, it's just like any sport, any martial art, any artistic or musical endeavor. It's like we practice. We practice for the concert. We practice for the fight. We practice for the performance. And then we go into it. And when it's time to meet that moment, we are ready or we're not ready, but we are darn well going to do our very best. And so if we simply master this simple like two-step process of navigating life, and of course, this is what we're going to explore here in the remaining time that we have. If we just do this, then absolute success is guaranteed, because we are working with the very direction of the Holy Spirit herself. We're working with the very direction of what is the purpose of this evolutionary process, why we came into this dream matrix, why we allowed this experience to unfold, why the Creator allowed it. All of this is hinged on this process of us coming into the awareness of the true self, awareness of the truth with a capital T. So when you work with this process, amazing grace supports you. at every step of the way. Grace is supporting you anyway. But but when you engage it consciously, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And I imagine that many of you watching this are already engaged in this in some way. But let's make it simple. Let's not make it about uh, strenuous theoretical frameworks or some complicated practices, which, by the way, I love all of that. But the core of it is so simple that it's very easy to get lost because it's also the matrix that offers us this great deal of variety. So you seem to have like thousands of choices of spirituality and evolution and self-help and self-actualization. And then so you go around and you dig many, many, many shallow, shallow, shallow holes and never really breaking through to that wellspring of living water, never really breaking through deep enough to experience this being born again in the realization of who and what we truly are. So let's get to the practice now. Okay, so I want to invite you once again, just let's take another deep breath. Let your eyes rest. If you're looking at the screen, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let your body relax deeper now. And let's continue. So, step number one is that we practice so that we are ready to meet the catalyst. The catalyst can happen at any time, in any moment, especially when you least expect it. It could be the moment you wake up. You could stub your toe. It could be the moment you go to kiss your wife and you might bonk heads, right? Like it is the it can happen anywhere at any time for any reason and no reason at all. So, and it's not like we need to be vigilant for it. It's just that we need to be ready. It's almost like I almost think that when we hear about these Zen monastery stories where the instructor monk, people the students are there meditating, walking around, and a whacks them with a bamboo stick. Why are you doing that? He's facilitating the catalyst, right? He's facilitating this very same thing, but you don't need to go there and have a Zen monk hit you with a stick. It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen right here, right where you are in your normal everyday life. It's already happening. You already know these things unfold. So now what do we do when they unfold? Let's look at this first, and then we'll go back to step one, because how do we practice for this? So here you are, everything's going great. Then you pick up your phone and you get this text message. And this text message, right away, you feel a change in energy. When you feel a change in energy from a sense of being relatively okay and open and like kind of flowing with life, you're having pretty good time, to any form of contraction, anything that contracts your energy and makes it feel tense and tight, become sensitive to this, right? I think you already know what I'm talking about here. Um, Bad news, seeing something, like you see something on TV, something's happening across the world, and it pulls at your heartstrings and you feel sad or you feel angry. Notice before any of that really matures into a full emotional expression, there's a contraction. You with me? There's this, that the energy gets a little bit tight. This is life force contracting. Why is it contracting? What the emotional experience is a guidance system. The moment that it contracts, it's like the check engine light on the car. It goes ding, 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 ding. Pay attention. Pay attention, because what the dream matrix is going to tell you to do is enact that emotion. Let the fear decide what you're going to do. Let the anger decide what you're going to do. Let the sadness decide. You know, they're not that great of leaders, neither anger, fear, nor sadness. So, and also, you don't want to go where they're going to lead you to go. You will most likely regret everything that you say from anger. You will most likely regret every move that you make from fear. And you will most likely regret what things you say no to and what things you say yes to when you are sad. So don't look at these as your allies and as your guides on the journey. They will lead you astray if you look at them from the point of view of the ego matrix, right? As was just described. But if you see them as guides as to how near or far you are to the truth of who you are, then they are such worthy guides and servants. They help you to know the very instant that you are giving your power away to something outside. That moment of contraction is telling you that this is not the truth. The way that you see the situation, the way you see yourself within the situation is not true. Anything other than peace, love, and joy is telling you that you are erring, that you are missing the mark of who and what you are. So the moment you feel this contraction is the moment the game has begun. You don't have any choice about this. This is simply happening. Now, the way that you proceed after your initial moment of awareness is going to make a world of difference for you and also for all the people around you. Because remember, as the Course talks about, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thinking or of my thoughts, right? So what do we do? How do we make a different choice there? Because the temptation is this, we feel this, we have gone down that path thousands of times. And so the momentum built up behind this unconscious automation of doing whatever it's telling us to do is great. And our willpower, if we're just starting out, is very lean at this point. And that's why we do that first step of practicing, because it becomes very robust very quickly as long as you are sincerely present for what you're doing and you understand the context that we are exploring right now. So the moment that that contraction takes place, you have to, in order to awaken and to pass this catalyst and actually to evolve, you would have to tell the truth about what's happening. Okay. This is very intricate, very confusing to the part of our mind that's plugged into the matrix, but I'm certain that we can all get this though. So to tell the truth about what's happening means that we're ignoring appearances. So what may be happening, let's just say from the point of view of our ego, oh, somebody promised to do something. They promised to meet us here at this time and they didn't show up. Oh, they stood me up. Oh, I can't believe that. They must have had that intention from the start. They were just trying to play me, all of that. Let's say that we're working with that type of scenario. So all that I described, that has happened after I've already felt the contraction. It's like, maybe I try to call them. They don't pick up. Time's going by, time's going by. I've already entered the contracted state, and now I am on that train. There's still time to get off the train. But if we don't, then all of that other conversation starts to unfold, all of those other thoughts that I just mentioned. So what do we do in that very moment? How do we tell the truth about what's happening? Because what I am perceiving is happening is not the truth. Remember, the truth is the same. It doesn't change. So the very first level of us moving towards the truth, yeah, is for us to say, I'm having a thought, period. That's what's happening. That's the truth. I'm experiencing a perspective, period. Do you see that that's what's really happening? Like if a camera was watching you, here you are, everything's good, what a good day. Wait, what time is it? You are experiencing a thought. That's all. A thought believed in, yeah, and identified with. Each thought that you believe and identify with creates a self-image that is a match to that thought. So as soon as you believe a particular thought, like I was stood up, or, oh, this person is late, they're not respecting my time, The moment that you believe that, you make a self simultaneous to that thought, a self that is at the effect of that thought, which you identify with as well. So the kind of the scriptures that might apply to that self is like, oh, I'm not being respected. I deserve better. How could this happen to me? Like, why did I get into this again? It must be because everybody else is a narcissist. Like that type of thing, right? So what we have to do as step one is just say the truth. The truth is none of that. The truth is this is a thought and this is a perspective. Oh, okay. I had a thought, I had a perspective, I had an emotion. Okay, now we're getting much closer to the truth. And now here's the real powerful part. This is it. This is as simple as it gets. And this is the most liberating thing that you can do if you don't just say it, but you actually do it at the level of consciousness. So you say, this is, as this energy is building up, the energy of emotionality, of reactivity, like whatever you're feeling, some sense of contraction, tension, even just even tension, you say, this is my energy. This is my power, this tension, this discomfort, this negative emotion that's building, this resentment, this upset. This is my power, my energy, my presence. This is all that was gifted me by God. This is mine over here. There's nobody making this happen in my mind, right? And we spend a lot of time with that in the previous meetings that we've had. So go back and watch some of those where we talk about that the core of our experience is that we are experiencing our inner world only. We're never actually experiencing a world out there because we're always experiencing what we call perception. Now, if we stay at the level of perception and believe it to be what it says it is, then we remain trapped in the illusion of it. But the moment that we start to say the truth about what it is, an illusion that is called out to be an illusion and seen to be an illusion is no longer an illusion. An illusion means that you believe that thing to be something other than what it is. You believe it to be the appearance, but you don't know its essence, and its essence is not equal to its appearance. Yeah. So the moment that you call out the illusion and say the truth about it is the moment it loses all power of hypnosis. You are no longer hypnotized by it. So you say, this is my energy, my power, my presence that I have invested into creating this now limited creation, this something that is feeling like contraction, feeling like tension, feeling like negative emotion. Whoa, no, 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 no. I'm not interested in investing the gifts of God into this. I now recall and reclaim all of this energy, power, and presence now. I feel it flowing back to me. I feel it returning to me. And really, like at the level of consciousness, like see it, grok it, like embrace it, see what's actually happening because it is your energy. It doesn't matter what happened. Like that person that is apparently stood you up is not even there. They're not there to cause you harm. They're not there to hurt you. They're not there to make you feel anything. You have to own the fact that your consciousness is primary. It is by your consent and assent that these things that are happening in your mind are happening. And so instead of going along with them and taking them at their face value, you start to say the truth. And then you say, all that was used to build up this intricate illusion, I want that back now. Come on back to me now. And it will come back to you because it is yours. And the only reason that it was there where it was in this temptation, illusion of, of suffering, essentially, is also because in one level or another, you put it there. Because as the Course in Miracles says, is one of my favorite quotes from there, even in this world, it is I. Even in this world, it is I who rule my destiny. What happens is what I desire. What does not occur is what I do not want to happen. This I must accept. So when we accept this at the level of our inner world, okay, please pay attention to this. Don't get caught up in what the matrix screen of appearances is showing you. In your inner world, in your world of thoughts, feelings, sensations, imagination, you are the single operant power. Okay, so it is always your power, your presence, your energy that is used to create anything that you experience, anything that you react to, and primarily, let's call it perception. It is your power, presence, and energy that creates this thing, this screen called perception. And this screen called perception is completely at your will. But you have to wake up. You have to come back home to the awareness of the kingdom and to the awareness of yourself as the king or queen of this kingdom. And when you feel this, when you take this stewardship, this power back and you reclaim it and you say, wait a minute, this is mine. Come on back to me. The experience is a literal shift in energy. You will literally feel it. I don't know if you felt it when I was speaking through it, but definitely you can try this on your own. Let's do it. Okay. So let's take another moment now. I want you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, take another deep breath. Relax, relax, relax. And bring to your mind now a very simple moment where you may have felt some degree of, let's say, annoyance. Okay? So do you have it? Some degree where something didn't go quite your way, you didn't like it, maybe you even just like shrugged it off. Let's use a light one for now. And now behold that. Let me just think of one myself. Okay, so yeah, okay, I got one. I got one where I needed laundry and the laundry that I was needed wasn't done yet. And I felt that. Okay, so very simple, something very simple like that. Okay, so behold that. Really now lean into how that feels. Take that slight twinge of annoyance or tension and just lean into it, accentuate it a little bit. Allow yourself to really turn up the volume on it. Okay, so just take a moment, feel it. Feel its intensity to whatever degree, even if it's very, very low intensity, but feel it as much as possible. And now, as you are feeling it, staying with your eyes closed, feeling it, being in that situation, now speak the truth about it within your own mind. Say, this is a thought. This is a perspective that I'm beholding. Actually, this is my own energy, my own power and presence, the power and presence of my consciousness. That's what this really is, because there's nobody else here. It's just myself within my mind. So this that I'm experiencing is my power, my presence, my energy. So speak that out, feel the truth of that. Don't do anything else yet. Feel how that thing, that sense of contraction, that the imagery, everything that you're experiencing, feel how this is your energy making that up. It is living and existing there for you to see it only because it is supplied by you. And now, as you see it, as you know that that's your energy, and if you like to, you can position your body and you can just like open your arms, open your hands to it, and just behold it and say, I now reclaim all the energy, power, and presence that I've invested into this limiting creation. I feel it flowing back to me now. And literally feel after it. Feel it flowing back to you. Feel it flowing into your fingertips. Feel it flowing into your chest. Breathe it in even. Take a breath. Take a deep, slow breath. I feel it flowing back to me now. I feel it integrating back into my heart. And I remember now who and what I truly am. I am the presence and power of God. I am the extension of the infinite creator. I am whole. I am innocent. I am one with all of creation and the creator, or whatever words constitute the truth to you and the reminder of your true identity. So try that now. Feel it, speak the truth, reclaim it, and use that power, that additional energy, that additional presence. Feel it flowing back to you and use it, dedicate it to remembering the truth of who you are. That's it. And then just rest there. Feel it. I wonder if you feel like your back is straighter, like your shoulders are more back. So this is a visceral, literal, energetic, consciousness-based experience. If you just speak the words, you might not feel anything. But if you really understand that the core of what you're experiencing is your own energy and that it is yours to wield, then you may have experienced what I am referring to now. Okay, so that is the practice when we meet that temptation or that catalyst that will pop out in the course of our days and life, etc. And now, step one, if we just go back to step one for a moment, and I know that we're about to wrap up here, but step one is practicing and preparing for this moment. Practicing and preparing so that you remember and you know what to do. And the most simple practice that I'll offer you is one, become familiar with silence and stillness. Even if you take like 10 minutes a day, make it 11. Make it 11, 11. But if you take this time, even a little time, to just be in pure silence and stillness, listen to the silence. We've done this before. Go back to last week's satsang and the meditation at the end of it. This is exactly what we were doing. We were practicing allowing the silence and the stillness to heal and transmute anything and everything that was in discord within our body, mind, and within our consciousness. Silence in itself will begin to infiltrate the programming. Each instant that you rest in true, pure silence, that is right now in between each word that I speak. And as I speak this way, pay attention, because now I'm going to speed up the speaking, but the silence has not gone away. It is behind my speech at all times, and you can remain with your attention and awareness on that silence. That is the silence that I'm speaking about. And the stillness that I'm speaking about is the stillness behind the movement. It could be helpful for you to get your body really still for a moment. And you can even try now to move your body once you catch that sense of stillness. Move your body and feel the contrast between the still, aware, pure presence that you are and the movements of the body and the movements of speech and the movements of mind and all of these things. But to be in touch for 5 to 10 minutes every day with this silence, in the intention that you say, you open your time like this, you say, okay, Holy Spirit, God, my higher, truer self, let's work together here. I am here to dedicate this time to complete awakening, to becoming the pure, perfect channel for divine will to express itself through, in, and as myself. This is what I'm here for. I know that in the course of my day, I'm going to encounter these catalysts. These minutes that I am devoting to this practice are for me to be ready for that moment. So let me bathe in the pool, in the sacred pool of silence and stillness. And as you do that, allow the silence and stillness to work on you. And then, before you complete your practice, still with your eyes closed, rehearse. Rehearse like what we did today. Really get the sense. Think about those patterns in your life that are continuously causing you to contract, causing you to experience negative emotion. So think about these in that moment after the silence and review them and see the tracks that you take, like literally see yourself and say, oh, okay, so here I am. And then my boss at work, they say this, and then I feel like this. And so, oh, okay, yeah, there's that one. That's how that goes. That's how it comes and goes like that. Okay, good. So now what I'll do instead, and this is the magic of it. This is what is going to help you to see the contrast and then wake up in the moment of temptation. Show yourself another way that you would rather act, think, and feel in that moment. So you replay the same thing again. You replay the catalyst. So there it is. Your boss says that same exact thing in that same exact tone. And there it is. And so you say, okay, so there it is. And then I'm going to make it mean, instead of what I've been making it mean, I'm going to make it mean this instead. And this is to be defined by you. But it is whatever way that you want to align with the truth of who you are. You may say, okay, I used to think that I was diminished and like oppressed by my boss. Okay, so what other ways can I see this? Holy Spirit, do you have any suggestions for me? And so you ask infinite intelligence, what could it be? And let it provide an answer for you. Maybe it's like, oh, you could see that your boss is just like a little child in there who's just seeking control and safety and just trying to make it by. And it feels very uncomfortable and scared and hurt inside. And so you see, oh, the next time he does that, I'm going to see him as that little child and I'm going to see his innocence. And I'm going to just say, yeah, Mr. Boss Man, that's okay. That's cool. I hear you. And I'm not going to take it personally. Instead, I'm going to remember that whatever that energy was, I get to recall and reclaim it. It's actually as if that boss actually brings me the gift of being able to reclaim that power. And so you can see yourself as you're doing this mental rehearsal of like, oh, yeah, normally I go this way, but this time I'm going to go this way. I totally forgive this guy already. Okay, wow, I see it differently. And really even see yourself remembering this and see yourself speaking the truth about what you're experiencing, just like what we did. Oh, this is a thought. This is a perspective. This is actually my own power, my own presence, my own energy that I'm experiencing within the my inner world of my own mind. Ah, I don't want to use it for this limited way of feeling and thinking anymore. I now recall and reclaim all of this energy, power, and presence now. I feel it flowing back to me. Come back to me now. I feel it integrating into my being. I feel it surging within me. I feel it and I remember who and what I truly am. I am this presence. I am the power and presence of God, right? And whatever way you want to remember your connection with the infinite one. So this is the opportunity. This is the practice. It's very simple and it's very direct and it's very tangible. And so I want to really invite you and even challenge you to work this way and then to come back and drop a note on the replay of this or on one of the other videos and let me know. I would really love to know, how is this working for you? Are you feeling it? Are you grasping it? Is it restoring you to this faith that actually there is a true, clear path, that there is a way for me to liberate myself in any moment that I choose to become conscious? Yeah. So I want to thank you very much for your time, your energy, your presence, your attention, your participation. Thank you for jumping in here with me and for participating in this awakening, this collective awakening that is unfolding through, in, and as all of us. So at this time, I'm going to pause the live stream, and I want to thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube. My name is Boris. You've been watching Beyond the Matrix. And if you love this, then go ahead, subscribe, share your comments, share your questions, anything else you'd like to see in future conversations. I'd love to hear from you. And if you are here live and you are here with us on Zoom, then I want to invite you, of course, for if you have any questions, if you want to participate in some group coaching, some dialogue, we have some time for that next. Okay, and if you want to be here next time, then look on the channel for the link. Even here in this live stream, there's a link for you to register in the future if you want to come and join us live on Zoom. Okay, so you take great care, and I wish you all the very best. Stay inspired and reclaim your power, your presence, and energy, just as we did together. Until next time.